In this video you will get two exercises that are quite doable, and your goal is to check the active moves and to find in each of the position a forced mate. In the first position it's white to move. Now the solution is, in the first move you sacrifice the queen on g2 with a check. White has to take with the rook, and then we continue with knight to f3. We had to sacrifice the queen for two reasons. First of all, we needed to deflect the white rook to g2, and secondly we had to play knight f3 and open up the square. And the final is we only have to, well, go for the checks. It's already enough, and there's always just one check in the position, that in the end black simply wins by mate. Even though you haven't seen this pattern yet, at least not from my courses, I still hope that you did find it, simply because it was just following the chain of checks, and there's always just one check in the position. The next one looks like this. It's white to move. Again, your job is to check the checks, so possible checks are knight takes f6, rook takes g7, and rook takes h6, and we can just go through all of them. So first of all, knight takes f6 is black takes back, and there is nothing that we gain from it. Maybe rook takes h6 in the second one move, but in the best case it's just a perpetual, and not even that. So this move doesn't give us anything. Rook takes g7. So if the rook takes on g7, we might think about taking on f6 next, so black would probably take with the bishop, and that's it. Now the pawn is protected, we haven't gained anything, so we are done with this move. Final move, rook takes h6, and now it's getting interesting, because if black takes on h6 with his king, then we follow up with queen to g6, and it's a mate, we win the game. If black takes with the pawn on h6, then we have a second check on f6, knight takes f6, and after king to h8 we follow up with queen to g8 with a mate. That means that it's interesting to calculate, obviously, but there's also the last and final move, and the move is king to g8. On the one hand, you could argue, well, I did win a pawn, so I'm pretty happy. But at the same time, even though white did indeed win a pawn, black can also win a pawn. The rook is hanging, so it's better to calculate the variation further till the end. So after rook takes h6, king to g8, it's white to move, and white has a continuation with knight takes f6 on the second move, because the pawn on g7 is pinned. And after king to f7, we finish it up with queen to g6. If you have found all of these variations on your own and you did actively search for them, then you have solved this exercise perfectly. And for the final, all of the variations on the board. This is the first one, this is the second one, and finally this is the third one.